Today is the day for one of the more notorious anime airing this season, an anime with a premise which can only be described as anime. But which anime am I talking about? Again, if you've seen a preview to this video, you can probably guess what it is going to be, just from the title. But what did I think of it? Well, that's what I'm here to do this video about, to tell you what I think of it and tell you if it's worth watching. That and the other shows as well. Sadly, everything seems to have come at once at the moment. Final Fantasy, Zeldathon, anime preview guide, need to record some more videos as well. Literally everything's falling right now, meaning that these videos are being a bit delayed, but I'm still recording them, so let you know what I think of them, and join me, because this is 2023 Summer Anime Preview, from a different perspective. First up today, we've got an anime which I was anticipating, not because it was something I really wanted to watch, but because the premise had me scratching my head thinking, really? It's another isekai? This one is Reborn as a vending machine, now I wander a dungeon. And yes, I wasn't making it up, this one is an isekai where the main character is reborn as a vending machine. It sounds weird, and it very much is, but it falls into the same category of isekai where the main character is transported to another world, and they're set into another world where they've got a set of rules and levelling systems. Except this time, the rules are very restrictive and focus very much on what you can do as a vending machine. You can spend points to restock, to change what he's selling, to change the prices. But he needs to spend points in order to stay alive, effectively, to keep his power going. And so all in all, it's him trying to survive in a world he's known something about, when it's just a stationary piece of electronic equipment selling items which people have no idea what they are in another world. He also can't speak because there's a vending machine. But eventually, after being attacked by some goblins and losing half of his points, our main character, who eventually becomes known as Boxo, meets up with this cute adventurer, Lamis, who has super powerful strength. She proceeds to take him back to town, trying to explain to people what it is. She learns that she can get nice food and drink from him, and it's sort of like a partnership. Boxo gets sales and points off the people in town. Lamis can go on another adventure, and also can get the cool stuff as well. She wants to show us to a weird scientist girl from the surface, I think she said. We don't know who that is yet, although I'm worried about what they're gonna do to Boxo. But that was pretty much the entire plot of the first episode. Now, as you might expect, I went into Reborn as a vending machine with no idea how it's going to play out, other than the fact the main characters were reborn as a vending machine. It's one of two anime I know where you're reborn as an inanimate object, but at least the other one was a sword, which actually had some combat use. A vending machine isn't really good in combat unless you fall on someone, which I imagine will probably be a plot point later on in the series. Instead, we've got this cute blonde girl carrying a vending machine on her back, fighting fights in dungeons, and eating and drinking the spoils of the vending machine sales. This one I do recommend giving a try. I'm definitely going to watch more than one episode of this one. It's not brilliant, it's not perfect. It has all the isekai tropes you might expect, just in a white metallic box. And because of that, it's slightly boring, but the premise has won me over to give me at least one more episode. If you do want to watch Reborn as a vending machine, this one's also on Crunchyroll. Next up today, we got a rarity in terms of anime these days. It's an anime not airing on Crunchyroll or High Dive. Welcome to My Happy Marriage, a historical romance anime airing on Netflix. And much better than that, it's not just airing on Netflix, it's airing as a simulcast weekly. So this one's definitely worth checking out if you've got a Netflix account, or I know I don't like you borrowing anymore, but if you can borrow somebody else's. Our main character this time is a shy girl, comes across almost like a servant girl called Mio. I say servant girl, but she's actually the daughter of a high-class spiritualist family. But because she is born powerless, she's seen as a wasted chance, not really worth paying any attention to. And she's basically raised as a servant girl of a family. Until one day, she's effectively married off. She's got friends and family in her old town, although her family, she views them as family, they probably don't. And so she's sad to be leaving the people behind who she cares for. And what she hears about this guy she's supposedly marrying, he's this former military man who is rumoured to be kind of cruel and cold. Apparently he's had several failed marriages already, and she's just the latest lamb to the slaughter, so to speak. But when we meet him towards the end of the episode, he doesn't come across that way at all. He comes across as quite stern, by all means, but I think the word to describe him isn't nasty, but more blunt. He looks to be the type of character who, once he gets to know you, will warm up to you. I think that's going to make for an interesting series. Now, My Happy Marriage is a beautiful looking series. The animation is on point, the characters are very attractive, but not too glossy, if you know what I mean. The music, the backgrounds, all just had me watching in silence, and I had no idea what to expect going into this one. And I'm not a huge fan of a historical style anime, but this one had me watching. I didn't expect to like a show like this, but you know what? I did. I do recommend this one. If you've got a Netflix account, give it a try. Unless you really hate romance anime, in which case don't give it a try. But I'll definitely be watching at least one more episode of this one, probably more. This one, as I mentioned earlier, you can find it airing over on Netflix. Our next anime is an Undead Girl Murder Farce, or Undead Murder Farce. It's an anime about a man, half Oni, who's got himself a career of killing other demons. It's effectively part of a travelling circus act, or travelling freak show act, where he does a cage battle with another demon, and he always comes out on top. And that constitutes his entertainment, apparently. Unfortunately, one thing we learned throughout the episode is, yes, he's half human, half Oni, but the more he uses his Oni powers, the more he becomes an Oni, and eventually the Oni part of him will just devour the human part of him, and he will cease to be. And of course, the main reason why he's an attraction is because he is part Oni. The only demon who can really kill demons successfully and regularly is an Oni. And our main guy, Sugaru, is very much happy-go-lucky, doesn't really care for anything anymore, just kill anything which gets in his way. Until he meets a maid called Shizuku, who is a stoic maid, super quiet, doesn't really say anything, just walking around carrying a birdcage. Although when she does eventually speak, she speaks with such a haughty, upper-class, I am better than thou attitude. You think, okay, what the fuck's going on here? As she lifts up the birdcage cloth, she reveals a severed head. And that severed head is Aya, who is an immortal. She's over a millennium old. She doesn't look a day over 12 because that's where she's stuck. And effectively, she just looks like a doll's head in a cage. But she's super powerful and she cannot die. However, there's one thing which can kill her. An Oni. And you can probably see where this one's going. It's going to be a murder farce, as they call it. A comedy of errors of Sugaru and Aya. And of course Shizuku. And Aya wants Sugaru to kill her. In doing so, that will probably also kill him. No idea what's going to happen in the meantime. That just seems like a very straightforward plot to me. But this is a very wordy anime. I had to look halfway through the anime to make sure it wasn't written by Nishio-sen, because it almost had Monogatari-styled verbal diarrhea at times. But it wasn't. Now, this is an anime where I have no idea where it's going to be going, and I probably will watch another episode to find out. Because it does intrigue me. It's not a type of anime I normally go out of my way to watch, but I'll probably watch another episode, like I mentioned. This one's airing over at Crunchyroll. And finally today we have a return of Truck-kun, in the most heretical last boss queen from Villainess to Saviour. An anime where our main female character is run over by a truck and gets resurrected in a game world of a game she knows all too well. Unfortunately for our main character, she's resurrected as Pride Royal Ivy, the villainess of a game, and a true final boss, and one of the most sadistical, egotistical villainesses in all of gaming, apparently. Not that Pride has any want to do that, and she immediately goes away changing her ways and changing her character. We meet a bunch of other characters, like Stale Royal Ivy. Sounds more like a thing you should leave to take out a cup and throw away. And her father, must be maids, and a few other characters here and there. We learn that in the game, Pride is definitely not good work. She tricks her adoptive brother into signing a contract of submission to her, so he can't disobey her rules. I imagine she's also going to do other things, like causing trouble for the main character, well, what would have been main character if this wasn't an anime, and the other heroes, which all fall in another main character. But of course, because Pride is now reincarnated main character, she does not want to do that, and so she goes about just living a life to be friendly. While in picking on Stale, she befriends him, she helps him, she saves her father from dying in a carriage when she was young, and so her father's still alive in the storyline we've got now. And other things are happening as well, which will throw the storyline out of whack. But there are elements of a story still trying to push forward and try and funnel people into the roles they have got set for them. So this feels like it's going to be very similar to My Next Life as a Villainess, in that you got the main female character trying to steer things away from Ultimate Doom, while the main story is trying to push everything towards that phase. Now, Pride doesn't have the personality or comedy of Katarina, but that's not to say she's not interesting. She's very much a much more mature main character than Katarina was, possibly because it's made for a different audience, but it still has the same sort of appeal. I've no idea where this one's going, but it looks to be a time skip from the looks of the opening there. Pride looks to be a beautiful red-headed villainess. The other character we've not met, Tiara, she's mentioned in the anime episode, looks also to be very beautiful. Is she going to be the bad guy? Or is she going to be an ally to Pride? Will Pride come before a fall? Did I think of a dirty joke when I said that? Yes. Am I going to watch more of this one? Yes. Am I going to recommend it? Oh, definitely. I'm a good fan of good Villainess, Reborn antics. And this one definitely ticks the boxes for me. Despite the cliched openings with a truck gun, I think it's redeemed itself through the storytelling. This one is airing over at High Dive. Today's episodes were Reborn as a Vending Machine and Our Wonder of a Dungeon, My Happy Marriage, Undead Murder Farce, and the most heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainess to Saviour. Shows with long and short names, which are worth watching a bit more than the last episode's anime were as well. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and join me next time. Until then, bye bye.